Hey guys, Trap God Senpai back again with another top 10 video. This time we'll be going over the top 10 anime with a genius main character. Coming in at number 10, we have How a Realist Hero Rebuilt the Kingdom. After the death of his grandfather, Kazuya Soma, an aspiring civil servant, is left with no family. And then one day out of the blue, he gets transported to another world, to a place known as the Elf-Riding Kingdom to become a hero. But an ongoing war with the demon army has put the entire world in peril, and Kazuya was summoned to aid the conflict as an offering from Elf-Riding to its allies. However, unlike the typical isekai, Kazuya doesn't want to be a frontline carry in the battlefield. Instead, he uses his vast knowledge and superior intellect to support the country through administrative reform. Shortly thereafter declared the king of Elf-Riding and betrothed to the princess, the realist hero, Kazuya, sets out to assemble a group of talented civilians who will help assist him in his bureaucratic battles to get the kingdom back on its feet. If you're looking for a show that's more of a battle of wits than battle of bronze, this is something you should definitely check out. Taking the 9th spot in our list is Log Horizon. Log Horizon follows Shiro, a socially awkward college student, as he and 30,000 others get trapped inside the popular MMORPG Elder Tale. While Shiro may seem like your average reclusive student, he's surprisingly an engineering graduate student, and even more importantly, the main strategist for the Debauchery Tea Party, a group in Elder Tale that tackled some of the hardest missions and raids the game had to offer. As we progress throughout the story, we get to see Shiro adapting to his new reality, as well as being the brains behind a new group, Log Horizon, whose aim is to unite the city of Akiba. Shiro may not be the strongest main character, but where he may fall short with pure destructive power, he certainly makes up for with his intellect. There's never a situation that Shiro can't almost immediately deduce a counterattack or plan of action for. In a new and dangerous world like Elder Tale, I can't imagine anyone else I would rather have leading a group than the greatest strategist, Shiro. Coming in at number 8, we have Your Lie in April. This is going to be one of the entries on the list that's distinctly different from the others. This show is not about killing monsters, saving lives, or having powers. Instead, it follows a young boy, Kosei Aruma. Kosei is a child that was hailed as a great prodigy in classical piano. Every competition Kosei attended, it was guaranteed that he would come away with first place. Other competitors and judges started to call him the human metronome, because every time he played it was perfect with no errors. Sadly, that all changed the day Kosei's mother passed away from an unknown illness. Since that day, when Kosei plays the piano, he can't hear the music. Never knowing where he's at in the song, or hearing if he's on beat, has basically crippled his future in music. Although Kosei still loves music, he knows that as things are, he can't continue to do what he loves. Lucky for him, he still is surrounded by his two best friends, Tsubaki and Ryota, the softball and soccer stars of the school respectively, and they do their best to be there for Kosei and support him. But nothing really helps Kosei until he meets Kaori Miyazono, a violinist who continuously and without fail pushes Kosei to be the best him they know he can be, constantly forcing him to be her accompanist at the violin competitions, and even playing fiercely with her own interpretations of the songs, forcing Kosei to improvise on the spot, something he's never had to do. But with Kaori's help, Kosei feels the most alive he's felt since his mother passed away. Fair warning, this show will put you in your feels more times than I would like to admit, but if anything I said so far interests you, I cannot recommend this show enough. Number 7 is none other than Food Wars, another entry on this list that doesn't involve fighting in the typical sense. We follow Soma Yukihira, an aspiring chef that has been cooking with his father inside the family hole-in-the-wall restaurant ever since the day he was born. Every time Soma cooks a meal, he tries to go further and see what kind of wacky or unorthodox combination he can get away with. Well, pretty soon, Soma's father lets him know that he will be leaving, and wants Soma to attend Totsuki Culinary Academy, the best culinary academy in all of Japan. Soma will soon learn that not everyone was raised the same as him, as most of his peers at Totsuki are all classically trained and each have their own specialty, while Soma has been making his own crazy creations and only knows what his dad has taught him. But in a sense, that's his power. You can give Soma 5 ingredients that don't go together at all, and he'll create the most flavorful meal you can imagine. When it comes to cooking, this man is a genius among geniuses. And of course, in the beginning when I said this show doesn't involve fighting in a typical sense, I meant that fighting in the show is settled through shokugekis, or food wars. 2 students are free to challenge each other to a cook-off at any point in the show, and it's a driving plot device and makes for some great fights and cook-offs. So if you're into cooking even a little and don't mind some ecchi moments, I guarantee you'll love this show. Coming in at number 6, we have a fan favorite, Death Note. Our main character, Light Yagami, is one of the smartest high schoolers in all of Japan, and one day he finds a notebook that reads Death Note on the front. He soon learns that with this notebook comes the god of death, Ryuk, and the notebook holds the power to take the life of anyone whose name is written in the book while imagining their face. Light begins to start testing it by killing really evil criminals, but soon can start to imagine the power it holds. Light has a vision. He wants to make the world a better place, a world where the scum are taken out, and he begins to view himself as a god. Well, this is where the world's greatest detective, L, comes in. L has been investigating these suspicious deaths caused by the Death Note, trying to find the culprit behind them, and thus begins one of the greatest games of cat and mouse in anime history. L has no concrete proof that Light is the one causing the deaths, while Light doesn't know L's name, so he can't kill him using the Death Note. This is truly one of the best suspense and drama-filled anime I've ever seen. If you like being on the edge of your seat, watching two geniuses continuously outplay each other while never knowing what they have in store next, this is definitely something you should check out. Coming in at number 5, we have Hyouka. Our main character is Hotsuro Oriki, a high school freshman with only one goal: live a boring life while conserving as much energy as possible. Seriously, if it involves having to put in even just a smidge of effort, Oriki will do anything in his power to avoid it. Unfortunately for him, his life kicks into high gear when his sister forces him to save the memberless Classics Club from disbandment. Luckily, Oriki's predicament seems to be over when he heads to the club room and discovers that his fellow first year, Iru Chitanda, has already become a member. However, despite his obligation being fulfilled, Oriki finds himself entangled by Chitanda's curious and bubbly personality, soon joining the club of his own volition. Hyouka follows the 4 members of the Classics Club, including Oriki's friends Satoshi Fukabe and Mayaka Ibara, as they, driven by Chitanda's insatiable curiosity, solve the trivial yet intriguing mysteries that surround their daily lives. Coming in at number 4, we have Classroom of the Elite. On the surface, Kodo Ikuse Senior High School is utopia. The students enjoy an unparalleled amount of freedom, and it is highly ranked in Japan. However, the reality is less than ideal. 4 classes, A through D, are ranked in order of merit, and only the top classes receive favorable treatment. Kiyotoka Ayanakoji is a student of Class D, where the school dumps its worst. There, he meets the unsociable Suzune Horikita, who believes that she was placed in Class D by mistake, and desires to climb all the way up to Class A, and the seemingly immiscible class idol Kikyu Kushida, whose aim is to make as many friends as possible. While class membership is permanent, class rankings are not. Students in lower ranked classes can rise in ranking if they score better than those in the top ones. Additionally, in Class D, there are no bars to what methods can be used to get ahead. Throughout this series, Ayanakoji will have to use every trick in the book as well as his superior processing and problem-solving skills to come out on top. If you like the type of anime where the main character is organizing and pulling all the strings to manipulate favorable outcomes, this show is definitely worth a shot. Coming in at number 3 is an anime I can't recommend enough, One Outs. Toa Tokuchi is a prodigy when it comes to both baseball and gambling. Pitching nothing but mediocre fastballs, he's made a name for himself by attaining a 499 consecutive victories in a game of 1 outs, a one-on-one showdown between a pitcher and a batter. Despite his remarkable abilities, however, Tokuchi sees the sport as nothing more than a way to make some quick cash. When Hiromichi Kojima, a legendary hitter for the Saikyu Saitama Lycans, witnesses Tokuchi's skills firsthand, he realizes that this man might be exactly what the team needs to get out of their slump. Determined to recruit Tokuchi no matter what, Kojima places his own career on the line and defeats Tokuchi at his own specialty, 1 outs. Forced to become a Lycan, Tokuchi soon finds himself at odds with the team's owner, Saikawa. After Saikawa refuses to give him a reasonable salary, Tokuchi proposes a special contract. Pitching an out will earn him 5 million yen, but giving up a run will cost him 50 million. With every game having the potential to either make or break him, will Tokuchi be able to outwit all of those who stand in his way? Usually I'm not a big fan of sports anime, but trust me when I say this show is so much more than that. It's literally as if you took the psychological mind game aspect of Death Note and just put it into a sports setting. And with every game Tokuchi plays, the stakes are different and the strategies also change. Even if you don't think you're going to end up liking 1 outs, I still seriously recommend giving it a shot. It just might surprise you. Coming in at number 2, we have an all-time classic, Code Geass. In the year 2010, the Holy Empire of Britannia is establishing itself as a dominant military nation, starting with the conquest of Japan. Renamed to Area 11 after its swift defeat, Japan has seen significant resistance against these tyrants in an attempt to regain independence. Lelouch Lamprecht, a Britannian student, unfortunately finds himself caught in the crossfire between the Britannian and the Area 11 rebel armed forces. He is able to escape, however, thanks to the timely appearance of a mysterious girl named C2, who bestows upon him Geass, the power of kings. Realizing the vast potential of his newfound power of absolute obedience, Lelouch embarks upon a perilous journey as the masked vigilante known as Zero, leading a merciless onslaught against Britannia in order to get revenge once and for all. With Lelouch's ability to order anyone making eye contact with him to do his bidding, he is easily able to manipulate the outcomes with his voice alone. But any normal person would be able to do that. Now imagine the person possessing this power is arguably one of the smartest characters in anime history. Now that's definitely a recipe for success. Lelouch time and time again comes up with sophisticated plots and strategies to achieve his desired outcome. And one last thing before we move on. If you stick around for the ending of Season 2, it's regarded as one of the greatest endings in anime history, just in case you needed any extra motivation. Taking the number 1 spot in our list is Akagi. While Mahjong is a game that is often played with family and friends, it is also a game that is played in the darkest corners of society. Nango is a compulsive gambler who has accumulated a debt of over 3 million yen. In a last-ditch attempt to clear his record, he decides to wager his life on a game of Mahjong with the Mafia. Unfortunately, as the game progresses, Nango only moves further from the prize and closer to death. When all hope seems lost, the game parlor is suddenly intruded upon by Shigeru Akagi, a young boy on the run from the police. Desperate to turn the game around, Nango hands the game over to Akagi after teaching him a few of the rules. The Mafia can only smirk as Akagi sits down to play. However, they soon come to learn that Akagi is a natural-born gambler, an imposing figure who does not fear death, one who is destined to become a legend. Throughout the show, Akagi puts everything on the line, seemingly having no care for the stakes, and as you will soon find out, that specifically can make for an extremely dangerous gambler. Whether he's up millions of dollars and challenges his opponents to double or nothing wagers, or even gambling with his life on the line, Akagi will never back down from a challenge. I promise you that if you're looking for an anime with a main character who seems just leagues beyond everyone else in a battle of wits, this is the show for you. Personally, in my top 5 favorite anime of all time, this show is certainly worth a watch. Hey guys, so just before I go, like on my previous video, I wanted to mention that none of these edits actually belong to me. I'll be linking all of the creators in the description below, and if you liked any of these edits specifically, you can go ahead and check out their channels. So don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and turn on the notification bells to see more content. Thanks, and I'll see you guys next time.